Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Foolish Fish Esoteric News with your weekly updates on the worlds of esoteric and occult book publishing and arts and events and paraphernalia. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you to miskatonicbooks.com for sponsoring the show. Miskatonicbooks.com is an online bookstore that specializes in very beautiful, difficult to find books that have been published by independent occult book publishers. And you can see on your screen some of these very cool books and courses. By the way, The Fire and the Wine is Shea Bilay's latest course on the left-hand path, which is a very cool one. Also, just wanted to draw your attention to Offering to Isis over here. Something for your, something you may want to look into. There we go. So yes, if you are interested in beautifully produced esoteric books and occult books, then this really is a great resource for picking up books that have been out of print for a while, possibly, or books that have been printed outside of the United States, if you want to cut out some of that, some of those shipping costs. So very cool stuff indeed. All right, folks, let's move on to news over here from Revelor Press. We're starting off with, a book by Brian Johnson. I'm always excited when Brian releases a new book. So this is a translation of Divinum Opus de Magia Disciplina, and it's a Similitude of Nature, Giorgio Anselmi, on the images of the 8th celestial sphere. Astrological images, so 15th century astrologer Giorgio Anselmi notes, are not limited to the narrow band of zodiacal stars. In A Similitude of Nature, translated, Brian Johnson reintroduces us to the layer of magical meaning hidden in the 8th celestial sphere. Anselmi unpacks new layers of magic possible when we step beyond the Behenians and into Behenians, I'm not sure how to pronounce that actually, and into a larger scope of environmental awareness of the celestial firmament. Revelor presents this work alongside the original Latin for those enterprising scholar mages who seek to work with the original treatise by Anselmi. This text is an essential addition to the reference shelf of any practicing celestial magician. So very exciting indeed. If you're interested in astrology, this is or magic that's to do with astrology, then this is going to be pretty exciting. Very good. Okay, and then we have Silent as the Trees, which has got a new edition. Silent as the Trees, I guess, came out a little while ago. It's a pretty cool book by Gemma Gary, who is a specialist in traditional witchcraft. Just wanted to point out that it's this dust-jacketed hardback edition and a paperback edition, which are now available to purchase. The original standard hardbacks and special editions and black editions and so on, fine limited edition, are all sold out, unfortunately. But if you're interested in traditional witchcraft, specifically Devonshire witchcraft, folklore and magic, then this is going to be of interest to you. Silent as the Trees is a book exploring the old witchcraft, magical traditions and folklore nurtured amidst the village communities, hills, moors and ancient woods of Devonshire in southwest England. In this, her 6th book, Gemma Gary introduces Devon's witches and magical folk, examining their lives and their magic from historical figures such as the White Witch Corks of Exeter, the Devonshire Toad Witches, and an examination of the trial of the Bideford Witches, to more modern practitioners such as the Cunning Man and witchcraft collector Cecil Williamson. Yeah, so I'll let you read the blurb in your own time. Links to all of this, of course, can be found down in the description of this video. Okay, we've got news from Avi Solomon. Now, you may remember that Avi Solomon produced a new translation of Sefer Yesira. For those of you who don't know the importance of Sefer Yesira, it is the origin of the Tree of Life, and the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, of course. And Avi Solomon produced a new translation that was published via Hadean Press. Was it last year or maybe a couple of years ago, possibly? And he has been working on an updated version, and that updated version is ready, but it won't be published until 2026 via Hadean Press, who will naturally bring all their usual know-how with making beautiful books at a reasonable price. Now, Avi Solomon reached out to me saying, listen, if there are some people who are super excited and who want a preview of what this updated version is going to be like, then he has put a copy on Blurb, which is, from what I understand, a print-on-demand service, and you can pick that up as a hardcover for $154, on which Avi makes a pretty measly $16 for himself. So yeah, Blurb, possibly an expensive way of doing that. Those of you who can wait for 2026, I would definitely suggest doing that. But yeah, that is available for those of you who are very excited and very interested in this new translation of the Sefer Yesira by specialist and scholar Avi Solomon. Very exciting stuff. All right, I found 3 books to recommend on more mass market media. Yeah, so I'm going to show them to you on Amazon as always, and the links down in the description are Amazon Associate links on which I make a small commission at no additional expense to you. And so those of you who do use those links, I really appreciate the fact that you would do that. But I just wanted to point out, this really is just for people who would be buying on Amazon anyway, right? If you can support your local bookshops, please do that. It's very important. Okay, let's start off with High Priest Raymond Buckland, the Father of American Witchcraft, by Jason Mankey, and of course Raymond Buckland himself, whose works are described here and related. I'll talk about that in a second. Look behind the scenes at the life of the father of American witchcraft, casting new light on one of the first modern self-identifying witches in the US. Jason Mankey invites you deep into Raymond Buckland's life. Known for bringing Wicca to America, Buckland wrote more than 40 titles, placing him among the most prolific occultural authors of all times. Drawing on exclusive access to Buckland's unpublished memoirs, personal letters from Gerald Gardner, and personal accounts from fellow authors of the craft, including Silver Ravenwolf, Thorne Mooney, and Selena Fox, Mankey reveals intimate details of Buckland's remarkable journey. This includes a 16-page color insert featuring photos of Buckland, his family, and memorabilia, and also shares various exercises from Buckland's body of work, making this book a practical and fascinating tour de force. It sounds quite exciting. I think many people who are interested specifically in modern witchcraft are going to be very interested in this. Okay, I'll let you browse that at your leisure. Then this one, Psychopomps the Soul. This one really caught my attention, folks. I can't remember who was talking about this quite recently, that there aren't really any books that I can think of that deal specifically with psychopomps from different traditions. And this seems to be kind of covering that gap, right? Featuring a cross-cultural introduction to psychopomps. Psychopomps, for those of you who don't know, are spirits who help with the afterlife, right? Help with the transition from life to the afterlife. This book brings light to times of uncertainty and fear that often accompany the process of dying or its living corollary, the dark that comes from shame and the shadow parts of the self. In Psychopomps and the Soul, psychotherapist Tiffany Lazick offers ancient wisdom to ease modern distress around grief and inner darkness, whether you experience loss through physical death or psychological soul death caused by living inauthentically. Psychopomps Soul Guides can provide a toolkit for navigating from unfamiliar liminal space back to peace. That sounds good, doesn't it? Like really, really good, I think. Tiffany not only introduces you to psychopomps from cultures around the world, she also acts as a psychopomp herself, sharing personal reflections that illuminate key aspects of the journey out of the dark and back to self. She teaches how to be of service to someone experiencing a similar transition as well. With rituals, meditations, and ceremonies, this book offers tools to guide you through the most challenging times and difficult emotions to find strength and hope. So this is coming out on the 8th of May. I believe all the books that I'm showing you today are out on the 8th of May. And you can put in your pre-orders already at the links that I've left down below. So that's very exciting as well. And then the next one is this, modern Hermeticism. So we're not talking about just straight up Hermeticism, right? The Corpus Hermetica or anything like that. We're talking about modern Hermeticism very specifically. The type of Hermeticism that we're talking about when we talk about Hermetic Kabbalah, for example. It's time to claim your inner power and become the best version of yourself with this accessible introduction to the secrets of Hermeticism. Eric and Alana Brown guide you through historical and modern magical concepts such as the Tree of Life, sigils, and god forms, and they present easy to digest chapters with extensive techniques and illustrations. Explore more than 30 rituals, exercises, and practices, including the Kabbalistic cross, elemental meditations, scrying, the Rose Ankh vortex, the greater ritual of the pentagram, the pyramid of power, the gate of transformation. Eric and Alana show you how to use ceremonial magic to access the knowledge, personal power, and freedom that is your birthright. So, of course, all of this comes out of the late 19th, early 20th century lodge magic traditions. I'd say very cool stuff, and quite likely of high quality, knowing other beginners' guides from Llewellyn. I would imagine this is going to be quite accessible and quite cool. All right. Let's see. Sphere and Sundry have got a new series, the Golden Titan. So this is the Sun in Leo, if I remember correctly, simply. And it is... let me see, did a Sun in Leo family. Yes, the first series was from 2019, was presented like a self-titled album. The second release in 2024 is referred to as both Golden Soul 2 and its subtitle Sun Without Sin. And here today we present Golden Soul 3, the Golden Titan. There's a sweet spot in the solar flare the week that cusped late July and early August last year, when the two most recent were seeded in quick succession. Each election was worth capturing for its own distinct qualities and merits, and allow us the opportunity to showcase how elections have specializations and personalities, which working structure, prayer petition, design, formulary, and even setting help to augment and emphasize. So the end results are related, but also meaningfully different to experience and orient toward. Offerings from GS2 and GS3 together gift somatic and experiential knowledge of this fact when compared and contrasted. So if you're contrast the two, you'll notice that they're quite different. It's fitting that Golden Titan would debut second, as the election's Gemini moon manifests twofold. Golden Titan is flashier, heavier hitting energies. Makes sense. Dazzling cocktail of titanic potency, steadfast and unyielding, coated in honors, glamours, and luxury. Yeah, it's all about Leo's charisma. So if you're interested in showmanship and lofty elevation, then I would imagine this is going to be one for you to look into, and just look at all this gorgeous stuff that's available, still available. Only one left of the ritual honey, but yes, plenty of those beautiful candles, and the colonia, which is always really very, very cool. And I'm a big fan of their oils, of course, right? The anointing oils, which are their most potent product, but they're all just absolutely amazing talismanic materia in Sphere and Sandry's parlance. Okay, now folks, I want to tell you a little bit about Raya Thorne. I don't normally do recommendations for individual psychics, but Raya Thorne was well, it is a Foolish Fish Patreon contributor, and she posted quite a lot a couple of years ago about her experiences with her Holy Guardian Angel on the Foolish Fish Discord, and so I got to know her a little bit through that. She's gone through quite a lot since that, and she reached out and asked me if I wanted a personal reading, just because she knew I was going through some interesting times, and I gratefully agreed. And guys, this, you know, because of the whole situation, you know, I've been attending therapy sessions. I feel like in an hour with Raya Thorne, I got to the core of so many of my issues. It felt like undergoing maybe a couple of years of therapy in an hour. Not for the faint-hearted, and definitely not for recommending to you know, your average hen night. This isn't something you do for fun, or to find out if psychic readings are real, you know, or to find out, you know, will I ever get back with my ex? No, this is really about a deep look into your shadows, and shining a light there to see what's there, so that you can then take your time unpacking all of what is unveiled, I guess. And Raya's just compassionate attitude the whole way, making sure that, you know, that I was okay to go further, and she's clearly done the work herself, and so, you know, able to provide recommendations and support and so on. I'm really impressed, and I think that this is one that I can wholeheartedly recommend to magicians specifically, right? People working with magic, people actually working with magic. Yeah, I mean, if you're just, you know, doing a little bit of candle magic to generate a buck or two, then that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people, maybe ceremonial magicians, and people who are using magic as a life path, right, rather than just as a tool that they've picked up, and for the moment it's a bit of fun kind of thing, right? So if you are a practicing magician, right, And if you are, if you maybe have undergone a little bit of therapy, and you want to kind of speed things up a little bit, then yeah, this just really good, really good. So you can visit her in person, you can do an online reading. There are various options available. The Change My Life psychic reading, I guess, is what she did for me. The Spiritual Alignment psychic reading. Are you an occultist, or spiritual practitioner seeking guidance to better understand your spiritual path? Do you want to uncover or develop your intuitive gifts or gain clarity on how to advance your magical practice? This session is designed specifically for you. Okay, and then follow-up sessions, psychic mentorship, and a whole program for a 6-month period, right, also available. So yeah, that's a recommendation to check her work out. Okay, and then Benebell Wen, how could I not mention this, has made it, oh my goodness, she's so good. She has made available for free, because that's what she does, like she doesn't do enough. She has made available for free this gigantic people skills workbook, because at some point she felt like she could have done with this herself, and so she has written a whole handbook on how to deal with people, and made it available for free. Yeah, in our community we have all kinds of different personalities, different neuroatypicalities, and simply people who are doing their best to get along in life, and occasionally there'll be someone who is struggling specifically because of communication, and in some cases it's cultural, in some cases it's neurological, in some cases it's just personality, and Benebell has shared with us this incredible resource, and it is in fact absolutely incredible. So I'll link it down below, so that you can find it for yourselves, so you can read through it and see the recommendations that Benebell has made, that she learnt the hard way, and that she is sharing with us the easy way. Yeah, very cool stuff. Very nice. And then finally, my board game of the week is a board game that's not actually out yet. It's a board game by Vital Lacerda Board Games. It's just been announced. The Library of Alexandria was one of the most renowned centers of learning in the ancient world, founded in the Egyptian city of Alexandria during the reign of the Ptolemaic dynasty in the 3rd century BCE. It was part of a larger institution called Museion, temple or shrine dedicated to the Muses, the 9 Greek goddesses of the arts and sciences. The modern word museum is derived from this very name, reflecting its origins as a place of study and inspiration. Together, these goddesses symbolized the breadth of knowledge, that the Library of Alexandria aimed to collect and cultivate, making it a beacon of scholarship and attracting scholars from around from across the Hellenistic world. And this is the board game, folks. I was reading the comments. It does seem like this particular board game producer announces their games a long time in advance. Okay, so yeah, this isn't going to be available anytime soon, but since I do a board game of the week and there wasn't anything else to talk about, of course I was going to mention this, and of course I'm extremely excited for it. So there we go. The Great Library is my board game of the week. There we are, folks. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you for your support, guys. Thank you so much. So many kind messages for my birthday as well, which was last week. I really appreciate that. Everyone saying happy birthday and stuff. That was really fun. I had quite a good time, met up with some friends. We played some board games, of course. And then yesterday I tried out. So my soon-to-be ex-wife, when we get round to doing all the paperwork and stuff, very kindly got me a session with a potter's wheel. So a one-to-one session with a ceramics teacher to learn to use a potter's wheel. My goodness, it's a lot harder than it seems on videos. You see movies of people just making their pottery stuff like that, but they're professionals, of course. My word, I wasn't really expecting it to be quite as hard as it ended up being, but yes, I managed in the end, and I'm quite pleased with what I managed to make. I'll get the final result in 3 weeks when it's been completely fired and it's the finished product and stuff. So very cool stuff. I just wanted to say thank you for watching and for sticking around and for being here, folks. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, click on that like button if you did enjoy the video, and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and click that bell button, because subscribing means nothing anymore unless you click the bell button. And if you'd like to have a one-to-one conversation with me, for me to read your tarot, for me to give you some spiritual advice on your particular personal journey, then the links to do all of that can be found down below. That's it for me for this week, folks. Do look after yourselves, do take care of each other, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye-bye.